Thank you. Backdrop. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Kian. I am excited to be here. I'm gonna do kind of like a day in my life, but also a Q&A throughout it. I feel like you guys have seen this day a million times. It's when I go to the city, go to church, then I go to a coffee shop, and then I go out to eat, and then I go home. So I thought I would spice it up with a Q&A and a life update. So before we hop into the day and head to church, I am going to give you guys a little life update because my life is changing and it's crazy. So as a lot of you guys know, if you've been around for a while, I was planning to move somewhere in May. And as you may have known, I met Kyle, my boyfriend, in December, which is like literally a month ago. It feels like forever. And when we met, none of my plans has changed. I was still committed to move to where I wanted to move, and the only thing that shifted was he was actually going to come there with me, and we were going to move to another country. So yeah, that was the plan. I'm not going to tell you exactly where. I'm sure some of you guys could figure it out. We are still planning to move there in the future, but we just want to do it once we're married so we can actually like live together. It just makes so much more sense for us to wait after we're married to go on that adventure. So how does that affect my life right now? Well, it affects it in many different ways, because now that I'm not moving to this country, I'm definitely not staying here in Illinois. So I decided to move back to Arizona. At first we were planning to move there in April. I wanted to be there by the end of April. But literally I have just felt so discontent here and just like really frustrated with just living here, I guess, and nothing to do with the people around me, but just really just like, I mean, thank God there's sun right now, but like the weather here and just like, I don't know, I just felt so discontent. So the other day I got off work and I FaceTimed Kyle and I was like, I am just frustrated and I just don't want to be here. And I'm like, why am I here? And he's like, I've been feeling the exact same way. Literally, why do I have to be here? Because the only purpose of me staying in Illinois was to save money for the moving to another country. And since I'm not moving there anymore, I don't necessarily need to be here. So I was just like, okay, am I just being a baby or is God trying to tell us something? So we got off the phone and both just like prayed about it and also talked to our parents. Got back on the phone. When did this happen? This happened yesterday. We got back on the phone and we both felt like, okay, it's time to go. And we decided to move to Arizona together at the end of February, the end of next month. So literally in a month, I will be back in Arizona. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm gonna be by my friends. I have amazing friends here, but I'm so excited to be back in that community there. The warm weather, the coffee shops. I get to go back to my favorite coffee shops, Berdina's. I'm coming for you. It's so funny. One of the Berdina's baristas actually messaged me on Instagram a few weeks ago, and he was like, hey, did you move? Like, you know, the people at Berdina's have been like asking where you've been. And I was like, yeah, I moved. I was like, but I promise I'll come back and visit soon. Like, I was a regular there, so this is the highlight of my life, is going back to the coffee shops that I love. So I'm so excited. We are not living together, but Kyle has friends out there as well, so it just worked out. So Kyle actually called his friend, and immediately he was like, yeah, bro, come whenever you want. And it was just like so smooth. And then I didn't know where I was gonna live. I reached out to one girl and she's like, hey, we're not sure if we're gonna renew our lease, but so we're not sure if you'd want the room. And I was like, actually that's perfect, because I just want something really short term for now, until I can find something else. And I really just want to like sublease a room. I don't want to be on a lease and like locked into anything. So she's like, okay, well then the room is yours till May. So I have a place to live. And then I looked up the address where Kyle is going to be living and where this place was, and it's literally 3 minutes away from each other. It's like 4 blocks down the street. So I was like, okay, God, you're just making this way too obvious. It's definitely a little bit more than I wanted to spend because I really still wanted to live more low budget in Arizona. However, it'll only be for 3 months, and then if I want to adjust and move somewhere cheaper, more affordable, great. But for now, it's like an amazing place to live. It's beautiful, and it's with 2 other girls who are my age, a little bit older actually. So yeah, that is my life update. We're moving to Arizona at the end of next month. Wow. And we just decided this yesterday. This is one thing that's amazing about our relationship is God created us both to be very like spontaneous and go with the flow. So whenever he gives us direction of like, okay, I want you to move, we're like, okay, when can we do it? Let's go tomorrow. So what's actually gonna happen is Kyle is gonna drive from Pennsylvania to Chicago. He's gonna stay here for 2 weeks. Then we have a trip to Oregon, which also means we'll be filming some videos. Then we have a trip to Oregon to visit his friend Jamie and his wife Katie. So we'll be out there for a few days, or I think like 4 or 5 days. And then we'll come back to Chicago, pack up our stuff, and caravan out to the desert in Arizona. So yeah, I'm so excited. We're both really excited. We both felt so much better and more at peace after we made this decision, after we prayed on it. It just felt like God was really pointing us in this direction. So yeah, we're gonna like, that long distance didn't last very long. So we're gonna be living in the same place, which I'm sure will be, I'm sure it's gonna be great, but definitely there'll be some adjustments with that and really learning to mesh our lifestyles together and also find balance in relationship with each other, but also relationship with friends. Because that's something that's really important to me, is to have my individual time and independence and be able to hang out with my friends and not feel like my significant other is just like waiting around for me to like get home and hang out. Although I know I'll love to hang out with him, it's just really important for me to be an individual within my relationship and to have my partner also do that, like have guys that he goes and hangs out with and just like have separate social time as well as together social time. So that'll be a whole nother video, and like adjustments of like living in the same state, neighborhood, in the same 1 mile radius. So yeah, that's my life update. I am gonna head out the door, go to church, and then I'm gonna check Instagram and see what other questions you guys are asking, and then we'll just go through my day.
Come on, how crazy is that? How good is God? So you can take a seat.
Okay, so I kind of failed at vlogging yesterday. I ended up going out to eat after church with a bunch of people, and then I just like didn't start vlogging again. I was so exhausted yesterday for some reason, and then me and Kyle did a virtual date night. So this is something like one of our friends who did long distance recommended. She said like get some wine and some food together and like literally just sit down as if you were having a date. So that's what we did, and it was really awesome. It definitely like changed the atmosphere than how we normally just FaceTime. It definitely felt different, and it felt like a date. Like we prayed over our meals, and we just had conversation and just weren't like distracted at all. So it definitely was helpful. So if you guys are in a long distance relationship, I would definitely recommend doing date nights. I am so happy that it's really crazy to think about next week, like starting next week, we won't have to do long distance anymore. So we got so blessed in that our long distance period was only like a month and a half. And we actually had like our first like really tough conversation that was like pretty uncomfortable, but after that conversation, although it wasn't my favorite conversation, like throughout, I was like, wow, I just like want to hang up right now. I don't want to be on this call. Like, I just want to like be alone. And he experienced the same things. Just learning how to have that communication was really important. And after we finished the conversation and just like reflected on it, it definitely brought us closer and strengthened our relationship so much. If you guys are curious, the conversation was about finances. Because that's something me and Kyle both have, like, it has been strongholds in our lives. And so just like talking about finances is never fun, and it just like people assign a lot of meaning and emotion to finances, but I think people should talk about finances a lot more. And that's something like I really love about Kyle, is that he's so open about it and that we can talk about it. And I think it's so important, because when you're married, like, all that stuff is gonna become exposed. So why not talk about it before you get married, so you can really understand each other, their spending patterns, what they struggle with financially, how much debt they have. Like, all that stuff is really important to know going into it. It wasn't an argument, it wasn't a disagreement, it was honestly just a tough conversation to have. But speaking of finances, that is something I'm doing right now. I'm taking this money and I'm putting it in the bank. So I've been saving to move to another country. That was the whole point of me moving to Illinois, was to save money, because my parents weren't charging me rent. God bless them. I've never saved money in my life, and I thought I would do a whole video about saving money with like my tips. But my goal was to save $10,000 before May. I thought that would give me a really awesome base for moving. However, since we're moving earlier, I have all this cash in my room, and that's how saving worked for me, because I just really needed to build trust with myself that I wouldn't touch my savings, since I've never saved in my whole life. So having it in my room in a box that I never would take money out from really helped me learn to trust myself with money. So now that I'm moving, I need to go take it to a bank, open up a savings account. If you guys are curious, I mean, I can make a whole video about it, but this is kind of how I made saving fun, is just like having these post-it notes. Hold on, I gotta pay attention to the road. I'm almost parked. But I would make these post-it notes every month and just write a goal on it, and then I would track every time I put money into my box bank. I would get to write on my post-it note, and through this method I reached all my goals, and it was just like a fun way and very simple way to motivate me, just having a monthly goal instead of focusing on like my big lump sum goal of $10,000. So yeah, that's what the post-it note looked like. I just got to the bank, so I'm gonna go deposit this. And like, this is in no way to brag. Phlegmy. I hope you guys don't think this is like me bragging or anything. Like, I literally don't care about money, and I know money can like buy us stuff, but I don't think it makes anyone better. And literally, I'm not rich. I just like literally say this is the first time I've ever saved in my life. But I think people don't talk about money, and I think that is really a disservice. So I just want to be real and be like, okay, this is how much money I have, whatever. Okay, I just got to my new favorite coffee shop. It's actually in an old house, and it is so cute. Thank you. So one of the questions somebody asked was, how was my high school years? High school was good. I was pretty involved in different activities, so I did track and field and cheerleading. Definitely had like school spirit, got excited for like homecoming week and all the dances. I think that was my favorite thing about high school was all the school dances and like picking out dresses. I feel like I had friends in all different groups. However, I would say that I guess you could classify that I was in like the popular crowd, as like horrible as that sounds saying out loud. I never truly like felt like I fit in with all the girls in that group. But with that being said, I definitely had opportunity to go to like the parties and all that stuff. So yeah, high school was pretty good. Definitely had a lot of heartbreak in high school. Wow, that's so good. Overall, my high school experience was really good. I loved being on the cheerleading team. I loved just being involved. Being on cheer meant I had to go to like all the football games and basketball games, so it was really cool to have that experience because I felt like super connected to my high school. Also, when I was in high school, I was dating somebody in our rival high school, so it was also cool because I got to hang out with a completely different crowd. I hang out with a lot of his friends and his friend group who I really loved, and I got to go to all his baseball games at his school. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed high school. I will say that 8th grade will always be my prime though. I have some client work to do. I need to schedule out some social media stuff. Also answer some emails. And then I'm actually working on a media kit to send to businesses who reach out to me for collaboration. I wanted to put together a media kit and actually start like pricing out things because almost every collaboration I've done has just been for trade. And I used this program called Social Blue Book, and because I really just didn't know what I should be charging, so I used Social Blue Book to get a better idea of a price range. And with the followers that I do have, I can start making a little bit of money through collaborations. So I really want to take advantage of the opportunity that God has blessed me with and start having something really cool to send to these businesses when I, send over my rates. So I will show you that. Okay, time for another question. I'm literally in the bathroom, but excellent lighting over here. So the next question is, do you think it is wrong for Christian women to not feel 100% content in singleness? Obviously, God gives us the desire to be married and to be in a relationship for a reason, and He wants those desires there because He wants us to be fruitful and multiply. But yeah, I don't think that having that desire is wrong. I think that's all it really should be, is a desire that you want, but not necessarily something that controls you or controls your happiness. If not being married or like being single makes you really unhappy, that's when I would say you just need to do a little bit more surrender in that area. However, even when I was single, I still wanted to get married and wanted to meet somebody. I just didn't let it affect my happiness and contentment with what season I was in, which was singleness. So I don't think it's wrong. I just think it shouldn't control your happiness at all. The next question was, am I in college and what are my studies? So I'm not in college. I graduated 2 years ago and I studied design management, which I really have no idea what that means. I always just say it's kind of like the communications of the design school. I was studying business marketing, however, I didn't take a math class in time, so I had to transfer out of that school. Ended up finding the major design management, and I basically just took marketing classes as well as I took some design classes, like InDesign classes, and just like more creative classes, which I really loved, and I definitely preferred it over my marketing major. So yeah, that is what I studied in college. And then the next question is, what is the biggest struggle that I've had with God or just in general over the past year? Going back to the financial thing and just really surrendering all my fear around finances to God and learning how to just rebuild all my ideas and habits around money. That was a huge challenge for this year, but something God has definitely grown me in and was super fruitful, because now I'm at a point where I can steward my money a lot better. And it was because of those challenges and having months where I just didn't know if I'd have enough money for bills and all those things that got me to that point. Definitely like the singleness began as a big challenge, but it got easier as time went on. And then I think just moving home and adjusting to like a whole new community and just way of living, that was super challenging at first as well, but it's also been a really rewarding season. But safe to say, I'm so excited to go back to Arizona. Okay guys, so I'm gonna end the video right here. I hope you enjoyed. I am getting back on my normal posting schedule, so I will see you guys on Thursday. Love you, bye.